Ta-da! Another Saturday Final Cut TV Live episode. Already we got comments. Very, very cool. From our friend over there on the X platform. Good morning, Richard. We already forgot it was Saturday today. I know, during the summertime, it's a little bit interesting trying to keep track of the weekends. And our friend Alista from Jamaica. Already everybody's listening from around the globe. So it's summertime. Usually it means there's not a whole lot going on in the world of Final Cut Pro. We had a couple of small things go on this week. Over there on the Final Cut TV and radio Facebook page, I posted something from the X platform that I didn't believe was real, and it probably is not, but it was just an interesting post, and that was talking about that weird Mad Max kind of Final Cut Pro icon that somebody posted over there. Final Cut God, is that what his name is? Let's go over there and look at that, because that's created a lot of conversation. It's not about whether it's real or not. It just promoted a lot of conversation about, thank you, a lot of conversation about the state of Final Cut Pro and whether that icon represents the state of Final Cut Pro or something else. I never thought that the icon was real. They said it was hidden in the beta of Mac OS, the new Mac OS. It seems kind of strange to me that they'd hide a... Yeah, there you go. And not yet April the 1st, right. But the thing is this, the interesting thing is this. Eric says, funny how summer doesn't slow down LumaFusion or Resolve. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct about that. LumaFusion, Resolve, updates in the middle of the summer. Final Cut Pro is on vacation, as far as we know. So we'll see. But the Final Cut Pro team watches this live broadcast. So we want to say hi to them for sure. See what's going on. Final Cut typically is missing in action for June, July, and August. Most of the time. We had 10.8 last year. In June, good morning, our friend Ben from down south, down in Louisiana, I believe he's from. I don't think you've had any hurricanes yet, but it's coming into hurricane season on the good old east coast of the USA. So there's not a whole lot to talk about, but we're going to answer any questions that you might have. We still don't know about, well, there you go. Good morning, Final Cut Pro team. Absolutely. The Final Cut Pro team always watches. They always tune in. No hurricanes yet, but they've had floods. That's not any fun. I live right outside of Baltimore, northwest of Baltimore, due north of Washington, D.C. So I'm kind of like up in the north of both of them, but northwest of Baltimore. The Baltimore Beltway flooded. It was shut down because it had water that accumulated in a low dip in the Baltimore Beltway. That's unusual. I guess some of the drainage was clogged up or overrun or something. There's our friend Tangier Clark. Good morning, Tangier. Tangier, are you planning on heading out to the Creative Summit this year, if there is going to be one? I'm curious. Does anyone know how many versions back Apple keeps an app in the App Store for older Mac OS versions? I do not. Floods are a way of life here in southeast Louisiana. We're 70-some odd % water. There you go. Our friend said, received Final Cut Pro cookbook from Amazon Canada and put a good comment about it and mention a credit Richard Taylor to let you know about the book. Absolutely. That's cool. Anytime that I'm telling you something and you use my information, go ahead and put a comment in there. It certainly helps the channel, the YouTube channel mainly. I'm not monetized on Facebook. I have no idea how that's done. I'm not monetized on X either because I don't know how that's done. That's the plan unless work gets in the way. The heck with work. Come on. I want to see you at the Creative Summit again this year. I met you there last year. The last 2 years, last 2 summits you've been there. I want to see you again. It's always a good time there at the Creative Summit. Now, do we know about the Creative Summit? Let's just say I know some things, but I don't know. I have my suspicions of what's going to happen based on information that I have, but I don't know for a fact because there's been no announcement, and that's not unusual. That is not unusual. Let me just see if I can pull this up. Well, actually, I'll go over here because I pulled this couple of documents up. I'll pull them up here and put them on the screen. Here we go. Let's go over here and let's pull up this one first. Now, this is last year. Look at the date. August the 30th, 2024 was when FMC announced that there is going to be a Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. So we're 3 weeks away from that at this point. But they didn't announce it last year until August the 30th. This is their official announcement. Now, I had permission, and I came out earlier than that and said, yes, there's going to be a Creative Summit, blah, 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 without going into specifics with FMC's permission. Okay, I had their permission to make advanced announcements. But their official announcement, as you can see, was not until August the 30th, 2024. So we're still early for the official announcement. Still early. And then there's another one. Let me turn that one off. And then there's another one that we had. And look, this one, same way. This was from 2019. This was from 2019. And once again, the announcement was September the 9th, 2019. Once again, these are the official announcements from FMC. So we're still early for an official announcement. Do I expect an official announcement to become forthcoming? Yes, I do. Week, 2 weeks, by the end of August is when I expect the official announcement. Now, if I get permission to say anything in advance, I will let you know about it. But right now, I don't know. And there's been no official announcement. I know some things. How are you doing? Good morning from Mexicali, Mexico. Excellent. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for posting a comment. I really appreciate it. Creator Summit with very big Final Cut Pro update bonus, the famous bagels. So I do expect if there's a Creator Summit that there's going to be a big update to Final Cut Pro. Now, is that going to be 11.2? No idea. But yes, I do expect a big update to Final Cut Pro at the Creative Summit if there's going to be a Creative Summit. I'm not saying there is going to be. I'm just saying this. I'm telling you what I know, and I can't tell you any more at this point. I know some things, but I don't know facts yet. What are we calling a big update? Well, Ben, a big update post-COVID. Any of the updates post-COVID era. Before the COVID era, the updates were much bigger. I would say 4 to 6 major new features, along with some smaller features. So here's what I would call a big update. Text-based editing, a roles-based mixer, and then whatever trickle-down features they can have beyond those two. Text-based editing and a roles-based mixer, I would say that would be a major update. Here's our friend. Hello, everybody. I am from Cambodia. Thank you very much, David. We appreciate you watching, and we appreciate you telling us, commenting, and telling us where you're from. I really appreciate that. Ben says he's with you on that. That would be a big update. Text-based editing and all improvements with captioning and stuff as well, and a roles-based mixer. That would be a big one. Maybe that's going to be 11.2. Maybe that's going to be Final Cut Pro 12. Who in the heck knows? Who in the heck knows? I would not place any bets on their naming convention for 2025. But here's what I would say. Do I think there's going to be a Creative Summit in November? Just guessing, I would say yes. Just guessing, I would say yes. Is it going to be in Cupertino? I guess. If it's going to be in November, it's going to be in Cupertino. Could it be the beginning of December? Absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe Apple's schedule didn't work out for November. I have no idea. And access to those mysterious audio formats. I think they've given up on that. I think they've given up on those audio, what do they call that? Audio something in here, audio whatever. They just said, we can't be bothered putting that in Final Cut Pro. Photos has it on the Mac. It's very bizarre they haven't incorporated that after all this time. Hello from Denmark. Try double take again because I wanted to have the ultra wide and the wide recording me while screen. I crashed on me and still buggy as hell. Yeah, I don't have anything to do with double take. I mean, I understand. Try Road Capture. That's the one that I use. For the most part, that works. It does restrict you to the front and back cameras, though. You don't get to choose two front cameras or back cameras, whatever they call them. I can't remember. Enough trickle, open the floodgates. Compared to Blackmagic, which there's no sense in comparing them to Blackmagic because they don't compare they're not in that race. That's not the race they're in. As a matter of fact, I'll ask them something if we get a chance. If there is going to be a Creative Summit, I think there's going to be one. I think it's going to be November. And if there isn't a fake Creative Summit and it is in November, I would say the odds of a big Final Cut Pro update are very, they just went up, if that's the case. But I'm telling you, as you all know, Blackmagic is just, nobody can touch them for updates. I mean, not only new cameras, new apps, they have the best iPhone camera app out there, which is the Blackmagic camera app for free. For free. They offer it for free. So phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So, can a direct option of Final Cut Pro send to Logic and Logic send back to Final Cut Pro instead of XML? Great update. That's true. But yeah, because what happens is you send your mix from Final Cut to Logic, and sometimes I've done that and I have a more complicated mix, and for some reason the XML puts every single Final Cut Pro audio clip in a new track instead of all in one. It's a mess. Going from Final Cut to Logic is a mess. Logic doesn't care about the video. It doesn't keep track of the video. All it cares about is the audio. At least that's the way it used to be in the past when I've checked the XML. So can you go from Final Cut to Logic? Yes. Can you go from Logic back to Final Cut? Not really. You could export stems or just audio files and take those back. But Logic's XML doesn't care about the video portion of Final Cut. That's been my experience in the past. If it's changed recently, I don't know. But Logic doesn't care about the video. So it doesn't pay attention to the XML video, only the audio. That's been my experience. I just want consistent performance in what we've used to on larger long-form projects. The timeline GUI gets tremendously bogged down, but that's not a feature, Tangier. That's to be expected. That's normal operating procedure with any modern app. That's not a new feature. We always expect performance. We always expect this. But a lot of people are not seeing that. I did a 2-hour documentary with this back here, 2 hours, 2.5-hour documentary with Final Cut Pro. Mixed footage, HD, 4K, standard def that I upscaled. No bogging down of the timeline. 2.5 hours, 20 terabytes, not bogging down. I am not seeing it bogged down. It's a little bit slower than a light form timeline, but I'm not seeing that bogging that you've talked about for years. I'm just not seeing it. Ben says, oh my God, the XML round trip between Final Cut Pro and Logic never worked all that well. After all these years, you think Apple can make that work? Absolutely. You would think, but I just export tracks. It doesn't respect roles to tracks. I guess if I was more organized in my Final Cut Pro project and took, hours of make sure all the audio, I'm just talking about just exporting a multi-tiered Final Cut Pro project and put each audio file in its own track. I had 20 tracks of audio and I had to copy and paste and put them all in one. I guess that's roles-based, but that's just aggravation to me. I don't want to be doing all that nonsense. When I like the magnetic timeline for video. I don't like the magnetic timeline for audio. I like tracks for audio. That's what I'm used to. That's what I like. So, and they have to clean it up anyway, put it that way. Another incredible update from DaVinci. We wonder where Blackmagic is going. To stop, Apple must really wake up. So we've talked about this with the team. And they themselves gave accolades to Blackmagic DaVinci Resolve 2 summits ago. I forget what the context was. They just brought it up and said DaVinci Resolve is either a great or a really good NLE. They just brought it up themselves. They know the competition. That's their real competition. The reason why I wanted to double take is because I hate when people have 2 cameras from different angles pointing at a person who does not move his head and then doing a cut to another camera. I understand why you did that. Joe Meyer, I know, remember you using that, but we're not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. I don't care what he revealed using Xcode tools. I'm not seeing it. I've been working on this documentary for 5 years, right here. 2 hours and 40 minutes long is the final cut. Multiple takes, 20 terabytes of data. I'm not seeing it slow down. A little bit, but I'm telling you, Tangier, I don't care what the Xcode says. In real life performance, the majority of us are not seeing what you are seeing. That's just the way it is. I'm not seeing it. I'm doing another cut of this for later this year. I open it up, everything's fine, it plays fine, 2.5 hour timeline, 20 terabytes of data on a RAID. I'm not seeing it slow down. I'm not seeing it bog down. A little bit. It's a little slower than a normal Final Cut Pro project, but not to the point where it bogs down and I can't edit. No, I've been doing it for 5 years, so I'm not seeing that. I don't care what the Xcode tools show. I just don't. Compared to other NLEs, Final Cut Pro is consistently stable and hardly crashes for me, unlike Premiere Pro, the king of crashes. Absolutely. The only one who actually does look better than the other camera had made a mistake, Dr. Wigo, and it's just more personal when the person is talking into the camera all the time. I understand. I completely understand. Audio ducking native B-roll would be nice. At the last Final Cut Pro Creative Summit, Bill Davis said, oh, one more thing. Native B-roll in Final Cut Pro is now possible. But I believe Blackmagic has to do the work. Make the plug-in or whatever the heck he was talking about. But that's what he ended the Creative Summit with, was that. I use Pro Tools occasionally, never crashes from lurking. The user forum seems all the NLEs have similar issues. That's correct. And in similar amounts. That's right. There's no real data to back up one NLE crashes more than the other. That's correct. I mean, Final Cut, there are problems with Final Cut? Absolutely. Is it completely 100% optimized performance? No. No, it's not. It's not. I have issues with Final Cut all the time. I'm just used to them. I do workarounds, whatever. But I have long format. This film I'm working on is long format, and I don't have issues. It's a little bit slower, of course, as you might expect, but it's not. Doesn't crash. It doesn't bog down. It would be nice to open an audio clip into tracks like a Photoshop files layer as a pseudo compound clip track editor. I want the compound clip to open up in the timeline, not to shoot you to another timeline like it does now. That's one of the things that we'd like to see. At home, I use 3 Macs, iMac Pro, 2019 MacBook Pro, 2021 MacBook Pro. I've noticed very little difference in performance between them. Yeah, I mean, we always listen. Every update, okay, optimized performance and no crashing and speed. That's automatic. Okay, that's automatic. That is not a feature. That should be completely automatic. Matthew's coming late to the party. Has the summit been announced? It has not been announced, but let's talk about this. We talked about this. Look, this is last year's summit announcement. Look at the date. August the 30th, 2024. So it has not been announced yet, but it's not late. It is not late yet. Between the end of August, beginning of September is when FMC typically makes an announcement for an official announcement for the summit. So it's not late. It's leading up to the time when they normally make an announcement. Now, what's happened is, for the last 2 years, I could make a generic announcement ahead of time with permission from FMC. I could say, yes, there's going to be a summit. Yes, it's going to be in November. You have to wait for the details. I've been able to do that in the past, but so far this year, I haven't been able to do that. Look at my thumbs. Both my thumbs are pointing up. I haven't been able to do that so far. That could come at any time in my communications with FMC. I had a 16-minute rough cut of a screen recording today where the scrolling timeline sometimes got stuck, though. I only had the screen recording without effects, did not permit me from editing output. I don't agree. There is a giant step between Intel Macs and when Apple releases the M processor in terms of performance. I think so for the most part. Would a compound clip opening in parent timeline be worth it if only one could be opened at a time? Opening all at once would be a UI nightmare. No, of course you're not going to open all at once. You open one at a time. It just opens in place. Because right now, when you double-click on a compound clip or you double-click on a multicam clip, it shoots you to another timeline. Why not just open, just drop-down menu, open right there. So you know where you are in the master timeline and then close it. I'm not talking about opening up 10 compound clips. Absolutely not. Just one at a time, but opens in place in the timeline. And the same with multicam clips. Now, I was talking the last couple of times about I would double click a multicam clip and it would take me to some random place in the multicam editor. Now this week, it's not doing that. This week when I double click on a multicam clip, it's indeed in the same place I am in the master timeline. I don't know why it wasn't doing that the week before, but this week it's back to normal. Our friend Brett from BrettFX says, seems like even more demand for the summit this year. The summit last year was phenomenal. It was the best summit ever. And that's because Brett was there. That's the reason. Brett's been through the last two, and he brought his karma with him, and it turned out really, really good. If they don't give us a second part of auto captions titles, would you be disappointed in November? I think they're going to. No, I wasn't disappointed last year. Last year was a nice update to Final Cut Pro from 10.8 to Final Cut Pro 11. So they brought my expectations back up. So mid-level, that's what I would say. There we are. Let me see what we're looking at. We're looking at the garden, the back garden, and the barbecue. We have a all brick barbecue there that was built by the original owner in the 60s. And then a garden, and it's been a weird year for gardening because the tomatoes aren't doing that well for some odd reason. Richard, in Final Cut Pro, audio rolls are a very good way and flexible way to work with Logic Pro Can C rolls as tracks. It does something, but I'm saying I like working with audio, complex audio in Logic a lot better than I do in Final Cut. I don't want to have to go into rolls and configure this, the roll and that roll. I just put the audio on a track and boom, it's done in Logic. I like tracks for audio. LumaFusion does a good job with tracks. Expand what you're opening in the timeline, and like Richard said, one at a time limit would be cool with me, absolutely. What about nested compound clips? Open the nest up and then just open one at a time. I think that's, I can't, there's no sense in opening up more than one compound clip. Not expanding in the timeline, that doesn't, that would be confusing to me. I think Apple doesn't care about other analyses. I don't see them moving in a competitive manner. Absolutely, that's absolutely correct. They're going to do Final Cut Pro the way they want regardless. And that's what they've told us, but they're not saying it like in a thumb your nose kind of a way. That's not what they're doing. They say, look, we understand, we see the competition, but we know Final Cut Pro the best, and we have to update it on our special knowledge and our special timeline. That's the way it's going to be with Final Cut. They're not going to all of a sudden do a 100-yard dash in 10 seconds and overtake DaVinci Resolve. So if you like Final Cut, that's what you have to deal with. It's fine. I have DaVinci Resolve, and it is one kick-ass NLE. Let me tell you, DaVinci Resolve is one good, strong NLE. I don't understand the difference in development between Final Cut and DaVinci, yet Final Cut only has a paid version and a 90-day free trial. Well, it's two different companies. The Final Cut Pro team is not... If Tim Cook was involved with Final Cut, which he's not, very little proof that he's involved, the way that, Blackmagic, their CEO, is involved with everything. There's two different things. It's different companies. They operate different ways. And Blackmagic is concentrated on video and audio and broadcast and stuff. And they have cameras and they have apps and they have tons of stuff. Final Cut Pro to Apple is this big compared to the grand scheme of things. Final Cut Pro, Apple is not a Final Cut Pro company. Okay, it's not. Final Cut Pro is just one of them. Look, Safari, Notes, GarageBand, iMovie, Numbers, Pages, all the OSs, Mac OS, iOS, iPad OS, TV OS, iPhone OS, those are all parts of Apple. Final Cut Pro is just one small part. They're not going to dedicate their resources to Final Cut Pro. Now, Blackmagic, on the other hand, DaVinci Resolve is a core part of their business because all of their devices use DaVinci Resolve. And so that's a completely different way of looking at the NLE. Our friend Tangier says, I'm curious how more AI tools can put together edits and are impacting all NLE development. It's getting more and more impressive, I will admit. To a certain level, I agree. Absolutely. AI has its place. Absolutely. But I don't want AI to do my creative things. I don't want AI to, I got some pictures I want to show you, as a matter of fact. I don't want AI to do my edit. A rough edit, that's fine. 2 rough edits, that's fine. I want to keep control of the creative process, just like if I'm recording an album. Okay, I have albums, I have CDs, half a dozen. I don't want AI writing the songs for me. Okay? Maybe I get stuck with a chord progression or transition. And I say, AI, can you help me smooth this out with a different chord structure? That's fine. Writing the song, no. Doing the final edit and doing all the creative stuff, no. AI, can you find me a title that'll fit with this section? That's fine. But I want to choose. I want the creative part to stay. I have low expectations, but if they drop something like they did with the magnetic mask, I'll be happy. I just hate waiting. Now, Matthew, were you satisfied with the magnetic mask when 11 came out last year? I expect the exact same thing or more to happen with the next major update to Final Cut Pro. Now, last Final Cut Pro was a transition from 10.8 to 11. 10.8 to 11. That's a big update behind the scenes, I think. Now that they're at 11, 10 is no longer with us. 10's in the background. Final Cut Pro 11, I think we could get even a bigger update than last year. That's what I'm hoping for and what I think. So, LumaFusion now has Paint X plugin. I expect Final Cut Pro iPad will have plugins next update. They've been promising that for years, haven't they? I'm not going to rebuy Final Cut Pro on the iPad and rebuy Final Cut on the iPad plugins. Ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen. I have over 1,000 plugins on Final Cut Pro for the Mac. There's no way I'm rebuying them for an iPad version. I haven't even tried the Final Cut on iPad. I've seen it enough. I have tried it at the Creative Summit. I'm not interested. My Mac version of Final Cut is more powerful and more versatile than the iPad version. Now, if I was a youngster and all I had was an iPad, that's a completely different story. I've been using Final Cut on the Mac for over 20 years. I'm very satisfied. I like it. I'm not going to stop. I use LumaFusion on the iPad. Do any other iPad apps support plugins? I think not. Well, I know because I've talked with LumaFusion and I've talked with Roger Bolton. They're working together for LumaFusion versions. Whether that's going to transition into Final Cut for iPad versions, I don't know. I don't know the technicalities of doing a plugin for LumaFusion versus the iPad. I think DaVinci Resolve is amazing from a feature set perspective, but Final Cut Pro made a leap like that. I wonder if that would alienate a lot of people who favor software gets out of my way design. I agree with you, Tangier. I don't want Final Cut to morph into DaVinci Resolve. I don't want that. But I'd like to see Final Cut do more features, more often, with stability and speed as a main consideration. Okay? People tell me, oh, I don't want software upload. Oh, I don't want software upload. That's complete BS, okay? Any developers, any coders worth their salt, and Final Cut Pro probably has some really good coders. No bloat, no speed degradation, no performance degradation. That's always the top tier thing, but it's not a feature. I think the majority of Final Cut Pro editors would like to see more updates more often. Stay in the Final Cut Pro lane. Nobody wants to see Final Cut Pro morph into DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve's over here. Final Cut Pro's over here. Whatever else is in the middle is in the middle. That's completely fine, and I agree with you 100%. While I understand they are still Apple, they have no financial concerns and should move faster than they are. They are not. I'm not disagreeing with you, Matthew. I am not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, realistically, Final Cut Pro is going to keep on going in their lane. They are not in a race. They're staying in their lane, and they're going to keep on developing Final Cut the way they have been for the last 3 or 4 years, unless something breaks through and they have a big breakthrough. But I do expect, like I said, last year they went from 10.8 to 11. Okay, so 11 is a new chapter in Final Cut Pro. Now that the new chapter is here, I expect at least the same kind of update in 2025, whether it's 11.2 or 11.3, Final Cut Pro 12, whatever they call it. I expect a same kind of update, but I expect even more now that 11's been established for a year. I expect half a dozen good features, a couple of strong ones. Text-based editing, a roles-based mixer would lead them off. That's just what I think could happen. And I expect it even better than last year. So if you were satisfied with the magnetic mask last year as a big feature, this year I think will be the same plus. I'm not disagreeing with you. When I opened Final Cut Pro yesterday, my Chat FCP plugin, OpenChat was updated. Chat, no bug or crash. Opening a compound clip in a primary timeline situation may cause the primary timeline to expand to contain it. Could open a pop-up or a parallel timeline to avoid that. I'm just trying to visualize the options for a mock-up. Just you double-click on a timeline, compound clip, and it just opens up right in place. Just a little drop-down window, it opens up right there. Instead of shooting you to a new timeline that has no relationship to the timeline that you're working on. That's what I'm saying. It's aggravating when that happens. The multicam does it as well. Are you looking forward to the upcoming phone? Absolutely. It's one of my favorite Apple events of the year because as long as they do improvements to video recording, I don't care about photography. I don't care about any other aspect of the phone. Better videography, better video cameras, better lenses, higher data rates, although I don't want to shoot ProRes log on my phone because it just takes up space. I do that sometimes, but not too often. Absolutely. Here's what I do. iPhone 16 Pro Max. Somewhere around here, I have my iPhone 15 Pro Max. I need 2 iPhones. That's the way I shoot. When the 17 comes out, I'll keep my 16 and I'll trade my 15 to the 17. So I'll get $500, $600, whatever the heck they offer at the time, and I'll trade it in on the 17. But I love the iPhone events. I've gotten the 14 Pro Max, the 15 Pro Max, the 16 Pro Max, and I intend to get the 17 Pro Max, whatever the heck it's called. Absolutely. I love that event. It's coming up within 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that. Don't forget the iPhone camera. Final Cut Dev Team has to keep up with the new iPhone features. That, to me, seems like the top priority Apple. Just an observation. Very good observations. What's your go-to video app right now for your phone? I would say that I have 2 of them and 3 of them, okay? That I use the native camera app a lot when I'm shooting live video on the street, interviewing people, doing live events, because it's the absolute, hands down, the best for switching lenses while you're shooting live. I can switch through 4 different lenses while I'm recording live virtually seamlessly with the native camera app. And I do that all the time. I don't use the audio from the camera. I have we'll talk about that in a minute. I have a microphone on me recording 32-bit locally. I'll have a 32-bit shotgun microphone recording talent in front of my camera. I let the iPhone just record its native camera. And I have an Action 5 Pro camera always. And that's also recording its own audio. So I have like 4 audio sources, but I can switch that camera live. Zoom in, 5 level, 2 times zoom, 1 time zoom, and wide shot seamlessly. Just touch the buttons, zoom, 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 zoom. So I use a native camera app for that. If I'm doing a shoot, what else I use is the Rode Capture app. That lets me record 2 cameras, 1 camera in the front of my choice and a camera facing me, so I have a separate file. I have 2 files, the front camera and me, and I can mix them in post. So instead of people seeing of the voice of God behind the camera, they can actually see me asking the question. So I do that if I'm interviewing somebody. If I'm doing a sophisticated shoot, this is hands down the Blackmagic camera app. It's phenomenal and it's free. Accolades to Grant Petty and Blackmagic for that free camera app for our phones. Absolutely, those 3. It would be nice if you could open a Dolby Atmos mix from Logic and Final Cut and do this mixing in Final Cut without having to leave Final Cut. Atmos makes more sense in video recording than audio only. Okay. Can I say when Apple going away from tracks with Final Cut Pro, they have analyzed and target their roadmap and that would separate Final Cut Pro from others? I don't see them going away from tracks. I mean, I don't see them using tracks in Final Cut, although I like tracks in Logic Pro. I don't want my audio files bouncing up and down and going, when I move something around and they bounce, little segments bounce. I want the track to stay here. But first off, Logic Pro is a music creation application. It is not a post-production audio tool like Pro Tools or Digital Performer are, okay? It's for creating music, okay? So that's why the tracks are really, really good with audio. I like tracks with audio. Can you use it for post-production? Somewhat, yeah, sure. I recently used Eddy AI with Final Cut. I liked how it organized interview parts I could choose from there to save time. I agree. AI can be assistive. Give me the creative part of the work. Absolutely. Richard, you're going to buy the iPhone 17? Absolutely. Or you're going to spend this generation? No, I would definitely buy it. As long as there's improvement to the video camera, absolutely. I still produce 2 local TV shows. I only use 3 iPhones, all shooting with Blackmagic design video camera app, easy to use, more control in the ways I need them apps. For studio shoots, absolutely Blackmagic camera is phenomenal. Plenty of control. We'll see what Apple does with the new Pro camera app that they're talking about. I can still get over how good Stem Splitter and Logic. It should exist in Final Cut Pro, but I mean, Stem Splitter is more for music, but I understand. Maybe it'll bring it over. Stem Splitter is phenomenal. They've updated it with the new version of Logic Pro. It's phenomenal. It splits vocals, guitars, bass, drums, keyboards, and others into their own stems. It works really, really well. But Apple say send Final Cut Pro to Logic Pro for complex audio finishing. No, they don't. They say sound design, stuff like that. Apple doesn't really recommend. They don't really say, oh, do post-production, do audio, do film post-production in Logic Pro. They don't say that. Logic Pro is a music production app. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's never been more than that. I do workarounds. I do podcast editing in Logic Pro. If I have certain audio in Final Cut that I can't get the sound that I want, I will export it to Logic Pro, but usually I'll just export a mixed file back into Final Cut. Let's go here. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go over here. So here's Logic Pro. Let me move myself over here to this side. Here's Logic Pro. Powerful creative tools for professional songwriting. Number 1, songwriting. Beat making. Number 2, also music. Writing and mixing. Session players, realistic bass keyboard. From warming your tracks to mastering your mix, you've got enough tools. It's all about music. It's all about music. That's what Logic has always been. Studio assistants, they don't talk about post-production. They just don't. Mix and export your song as Dolby Atmos, spatial audio file, ready for Apple Music. There's nothing about post-production in here. It's all about music, music, music. This is something that I'd love Final Cut to get right here. Right here. An iPad, iPhone app to control Final. After all these years, Logic's had this for years, and we still don't have an iPad app, iPhone app to control Final Cut Pro. All about music, compositions and performances, ultimate way to record, get the most out of MIDI. MIDI is music, live loops, step sequencer, remix. It's not about post-production with the film. It hasn't been for a long, I don't think it's ever been. I think Pro Tools is probably the king of that. Maybe Digital Performer is pretty good with that. I'm running public beta of iOS 26. Camera app has gotten a lot of clutter out of the way. Visually, it's an actual practical improvement. Very cool. As long as they don't mess with switching cameras when live recording. Don't do that, because that would be a big mistake. Not sure if this was brought up earlier, any more on the mysterious Mac OS. Let's talk about that right now. Hold on a second. Let me go over here. Okay, let's go over to here. Creative Summit. We'll get rid of that. So this has created a lot of. Let me see. What's the right word? Let me think what the right word is. I'm going to change this to. Here we go. Change this to this. So I saw this on X. And the person who posted it, Final Cut God, is that what he calls himself? Said this icon was in the new public beta of Mac OS. That's what he says. I didn't believe it from the beginning, but I found it curious. Did he create this? I don't know. I've asked him. I have not seen a response yet. Is this AI generated? It looks AI to me, but he says it's in the new public beta of Mac OS. So I posted it on the Facebook group, Final Cut TV Radio. Hundreds of people, there's 100 people that made comments about it. Pro Final Cut, anti-Final Cut. It's created a lot of controversy, this image. So if you know anything about it, let me know. I presumed it was AI generated, and when he said it was in the beta version of Mac OS, I'm like, really? That is so bizarre if that's true. Looks like a Mad Max version of Final Cut. That's what the comment is, our friend Tim said. Get something to drink there. It's funny, the difference. Logic is the most used software for music while editing for its Premiere Pro. Choose from dozens of bundled plugins for audio compression or send to a professional audio application like Logic Pro for advanced audio mixing. Advanced audio mixing, I just showed you the Logic Pro page. It doesn't have anything to do with, nowhere does it mention post-production. Music, 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 music. Okay? Logic Pro is a music application. It's not a post-production application. Can it be used as one? Probably a little bit. It can, but it's not there. Ben says it's not there, made up by someone. That's what I thought. From the Logic Pro, Final Cut Pro page, go to the Logic Pro page. That's why I was just there. I spent 5 minutes there. It's all about music. Music, 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 music. It says nothing about doing a post-production mix. That's not what Logic is. It's not what it is. First off, you got rolls versus tracks. That's a complicated thing there. Can you send something from Final Cut? Yeah. Is it optimal? No. What do professionals use? They use Pro Tools. If you're doing a professional film, I don't know anybody that uses Logic Pro to do the final mix for you. Everybody uses Pro Tools. It's a Pro Tools house. Logic Pro is a music application. Go to the page, like I just did, item after item after item after item after item after item. Music. Music. That's what Logic Pro is. It's not about it. Pro Tools is in every professional studio. Logic is in most. Right. Pro Tools is what people send when they do final mixes. The exact distinction, Pro Tools has the tools, Digital Performer has the tools for post-production. Can you do limited post-production with Logic? Yeah, but that's not what the tool was meant for. It never was. Logic's never been touted as a post-production tool. It's been a music creation tool, creating soundscapes, not mixing dialogue. Have you tested Mac OS 26? Not yet. Not yet. I have no what's the reason for me to test Mac OS 26? Tell me a compelling reason. Here's the deal. I got a 2 terabyte SSD on my Mac Mini Pro. I will create a new volume for Mac OS 26 when it's stable enough, and I will install Mac OS 26 from scratch from scratch on that volume, and I will reassemble Mac OS from scratch onto that volume. Now, that enables me to boot up, and I'm not erasing my previous OS. All the plugins that worked now in Sequoia, Sonoma, whatever the other one is, I have 3 Mac OSs I can boot into. 2 on my Mac Mini, 3 on my MacBook Pro. I can do whatever I want. There's no danger. I'm not erasing my previous version of Mac OS. You can send from Final Cut Pro to Logic, but for larger, more complex edits, it's just a bad idea. It always been an afterthought, not strong. Right, but you can send Final Cut Pro mix to Logic, but you can't effectively send a Logic mix back to Final Cut Pro because Logic XML does not care about the video in the XML file. It doesn't care about the video. It only cares about the audio. That's been my experience in the past. If they've changed it recently, they've changed it. Going from Final Cut to Logic is one way. Going from Logic back to Final Cut as an XML file is a disaster. That's what I've found. How does Logic Pro represent clips? Each source as an instrument? I'm not sure what you mean. It just represents clips as clips. As clips. But the problem was in the past, what I've done is I've selected clips on Final Cut, export XML, and Logic interprets all those individual clips as they puts it on their own tracks instead of putting it in one track. I don't do that very often. I put 26 on my M1 MacBook Pro, no big issues. I have no hurry to get that. Everything's running smooth. When I created tutorial videos for several companies, I had to go into beta versions of things. The only way to get updated software tutorials out of the way, apps done otherwise. Nope, not me. Our friend Tangier says, Extra Pro, most post houses have been very pleased with my roles and organizing using Extra Pro. Exactly. Logic to Final Cut Pro creates a new event. It can be confusing. It's not clean, in my opinion. Although my last 2 features were finished in Logic Pro by people who use Pro Tools more, but still preferred Pro Tools regularly. That is not typical. Yes. Can you bend and twist Logic Pro to do some things post-production? I guess. I'm not interested in that. I just, for this movie that I'm going to be doing another mix on, I just do most of my mixing and stuff inside of Final Cut rather than go back and forth. I hope there won't be a bug when Final Cut when we install Tahoe 26. Ripple Training has a tutorial on Logic Pro in post, a clumsy solution at best. Yeah, it's very clumsy for post. Creating music is fine. I've recorded my last CDs, albums in Logic. It's been fantastic. And I like it for that. And I edit Final Cut Pro Radio. I'm going to be putting another version out at the end of August, another episode. And I'll do that. Well, what I've been doing recently with that is I've been doing a rough cut edit in DaVinci Resolve, text-based editing. So fast. Oh, you can go through it and create a rough cut easily in DaVinci Resolve. It's simple with text-based editing. Much faster than listening to it in real time. Text-based edit in DaVinci Resolve, export an XML, open that up in Logic Pro. Finish it. Yeah, you'll notice that you said Ripple Training has a tutorial on Logic Pro. They don't do any more tutorials on Logic Pro. They weren't that popular. They were not that popular. So one of the things, let's do this. If you don't know, let's go over here. Where is that? Here we go. So, Our friend Mike from last week we had on here. This is his cookbook, Final Cut Pro cookbook. And look, it's 20% off. The hardcover and the Kindle are the same price. It's 20% off. You can get it for $39.99. It has tips and tricks, all kinds of stuff for Final Cut Pro. Just do a search Final Cut Pro cookbook on Amazon, whatever country you're in. But in America, in the US, it's 20% off. The hardcover is the same price as the Kindle version. Now, personally, I would get the Kindle version because you can get updates. I don't know if they're going to give you updates if you buy the hardcover. They won't give you a new hardcover, but they might let you download a PDF of any updates. Say Final Cut Pro 11.2 comes out. Maybe they'll make a PDF, and if you have the hardcover book, they'll let you download the PDF. I like both, but it's easy to update the Kindle version specifically. Just do a search for Final Cut Pro cookbook on Amazon, 20% off. You can't beat it. You cannot beat it. Good deal. Don't you think there will be an update to Final Cut for Mac OS in September? Not a feature update. I think if there's going to be a Creative Summit, they'll hold off. The feature update will come at the Creative Summit. Might they do? They can do a small update at any point. They can do a small update at any point. Bug fix, compatibility with Mac OS. That would make sense if they did something and called it 11.1.2. That would be good time. When you get a new OS partition, do you use Migration Assist to bring back all your settings and applications? No, I do not. I do a fresh install, with the exception of not keywords, but all the Wi-Fi settings and the settings for Wi-Fi and stuff like that. I bring all those over. I intentionally do a fresh install. I got a list of 20 applications I need immediately. I'll go to the App Store, have to download Final Cut Pro, download Motion, download Compressor, download anything in the App Store. It's brain dead simple. Third-party applications, I got about a dozen that I use. Download their versions, install them. Is it more work? Yes. But it's a fresh install of a new Mac OS. All the applications are fresh. And I can boot into any one of the previous OSs that I want to. Hold down the Option key when you boot up and you choose what startup disk you want. It's really works very, very effectively. I never erase my old Mac OS partition. It's hard to update a bound dead tree. I'm not sure what that means. Yes, I got the PDF of Final Cut Pro Cookbook in Canada with Terex. It's about $63. There you go. If both partitions are seen, yes, you can use Migration Assistant. I've used MA for 2 decades and never had an issue. Yeah, but I don't want old preferences. I want brand new, fresh installed preferences. And they're called volumes, I think, now. Instead of partitions, Ben, I think they're called volumes. And I take the time and listen, I'm not worried about it. I want fresh installs of Final Cut, fresh installs of all my apps, fresh installs of the Mac OS. The only thing I bring over are the passwords. That's what I bring over. That stuff is in the cloud or in whatever, so I don't have to worry about typing my long passwords out. I want fresh everything, fresh install of everything. So I bite the bullet and do it that way. But it's a separate volume. You'd have to cut and paste with real scissors and glue. Gotcha. Gotcha. Let's check the backyard. Anything going on back there? I don't think there is. I don't think there is. Let me. I know volumes and partitions are different things. A volume is a logical drive that lives on a physical partition. That's why I install Mac OS on a volume. I don't do it in a partition. Let me go over here. I'll look on this for you. Let me see. Where is I? There we go. Disk utility. Let me see. Mac Mini Pro volumes. That's what I have is volumes. Volume, APFS encrypted. I have two. Oh, you know what? My Mac Mini Pro only has, it has 2 volumes. And I have, what? Because it didn't allow me to go back to Mac OS. It just had to use the current Mac OS. So what am I on? Mac Mini Mo. Let me just see something here. What I'm on. I forget about this Mac. So I'm on Sequoia 15.4.1, 16.4.1. So let me just see something here while I got you. Yeah, I know that. I don't install on partitions. I install on volumes completely. And let me do something here. Why is that standing behind there? So I only have, you know what? I only have on this one, I only have Sequoia, but on my MacBook Pro, I have three operating systems I can boot into. Each one is on its own volume, not partition. They're on their own volumes. So it's very easy to do, and you don't have to erase anything. That's the main thing. I don't have to erase my old Mac OS. It doesn't even take up that much more room. I mean, it's just the volumes share things. So that's how I do it. Same thing I'm going to do again this year. Create a new volume on my SSD, install the new Mac OS, and it's not going to touch my existing Mac OS. It's not going to touch preferences. It's not going to touch plugins. That's all available on boot up. Hold the Option key and you can choose which volume that you want. Can we say title-based editing and audio mixing limitations are the 2 serious options we need updated? That, to me, I mean, text-based editing and a roles-based mixer are the 2 big things that I want. Absolutely. Absolutely. Those are the 2 things that I want. We got a lot of people watching today. We got about 75 people watching live. If you're watching live and you've never commented before, go ahead and comment in the YouTube or the Facebook or X. X is coming through. Do I have any Facebook comments this morning? Let me see. I don't think so. Everything's been on YouTube, and X. There's no Facebook comments. So if you're watching, tell us where you're from. We got 75, 80 people watching live right now, which is good. It's going up every week. It's going up every week, which is very, very cool. Let me just see here. Yeah, a lot of people on X. A lot of people on X watching. 44 people, from what I can see, are watching over there on the X platform. Absolutely. I've been streaming on X for a long, long time. Years and years and years. "44 people on X and only me typing." Exactly. So if you're on X, give a shout out. Let us know where you're from, what part of the country you're from, where you're watching from. My data rate is 14. It says 10 megabits per second. Target is 14.56. But you know what's weird? Not weird. Let me show you this. I updated my modem with Xfinity. And this is what I'm getting nowadays. Let me just go over here to, there's that icon, whatever the heck that is, we don't know. This is what I'm getting on Xfinity now. I'm getting 930 download and 300 upload. I only need 10. 50, it says target data rate is 15, is streaming to 3 platforms. I got 300. I got plenty of overhead. I got a new modem from Xfinity. They don't charge for it. They just mailed it to me. So it came up. So while I got you here, let me show you what I pulled in from. I did it. I said, show me Final Cut Pro icon as a superhero. This is what I got from one of the other. This is what I got. I said, show me Final Cut Pro as a superhero, and this is what they did. I mean, I said, show me the Final Cut Pro icon with the superhero cape or something as a superhero, and this is what AI came up with, Final Cut Pro. They also came up with another one. They came up with this. Final Cut Pro as a superhero. This is what AI came up with. Do you want them editing your video? This is, I said put the icon as the primary source of information, but they put it behind the superhero. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? That's just the way it is. We got like 80 some people watching live now. Our friend Rogerio says, a hug from Brazil. Thank you very much. Absolutely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Is this a cereal box? Exactly. It's bizarre. I just wanted the Final Cut Pro icon with a superhero cape on it or something. That's what I was looking for, but I couldn't get it. So that's just the way it goes. Let's see what's going on in the backyard. It looks like not much activity. What's the temperature? The temperature is, 75 degrees Fahrenheit, which is perfect. It's like fall weather in August. It's phenomenal. It is phenomenal. Let's go over here real quick. Let's watch our kitty cats. These are our outdoor cats. The one on the left is Shadow. The one on the right is Sammy. Sammy Sunshine. These are our community cats. Shadow. Sammy. They have their own sunroom. They have their own sunroom. They have their own sunroom that's heated in the wintertime. It's got heating pads. And if it's really cold, like in the teens or 20s, I'll do an auxiliary a heater, as well as the heating pads. We had some really, really hot days 2 weeks ago in the 90s. It was very, very hot. They have a sunroom, and it's got their own a cat door in and out. But it was really, really hot, and they weren't staying there. So I have 2 auxiliary air conditioning units. I'm not using them because I have full house air conditioning. So I took one of the AC units and rigged it up in their sunroom to help moderate their temperature, especially at nighttime. It is basically because AI don't have human perception, so creations look funny. To me, they do at this point. I don't think that I've not been impressed. I've seen things on X. They post videos that they had a dog drinking coffee the other day. I'm just like, wow, it looks cartoonish, but it looked pretty interesting. So what the heck? I don't know. AI has its place? Yes. Does a real video editor have its place? Absolutely. Does Final Cut Pro have its place? Absolutely it does. Does DaVinci Resolve? Sure. Absolutely. DaVinci Resolve is a phenomenal app. It has fantastic color correction. It has Fairlight audio mixing and stuff. It has Fusion, which is node-based, and I'm not going to get involved with that except for maybe modifying a title or something. Final Cut is fantastic as well. So, 2 different apps. Do I have to quit one in order to use the other? No, I don't. I can use both. I don't have to say, I'm going to quit Final Cut and go over to DaVinci Resolve. No, you don't have to do that. You can use both. I use both. I use Final Cut, I use DaVinci Resolve, and I use LumaFusion. On my phone, I can edit. I can shoot the video on my iPhone 16 Pro Max, and I can edit it very effectively with LumaFusion. You can't edit video with Final Cut for the iPad on a phone. You don't have to transfer the video. It's on your phone. You can edit it right on your phone. So do I do that normally? No, I don't. But when I'm out live, like if I go to the Creative Summit and I film in the just say it's at the Juniper again, in the Juniper lobby, and I want to put something up live, I'll shoot it on the phone, edit it in LumaFusion, and then export it. Just remember Terminator, Judgment Day, I'll be back. Yeah, I know. I always say, we've seen this. We've seen what AI becomes. Multiple. Battlestar Galactica, we've seen what AI becomes. Terminator, we've seen what AI becomes. You know, AI is like anything else. Keep an eye on it. Make sure there's a human kill switch in there somewhere that AI can't defeat, no matter what you do. So we got a lot of people. We're going to break 100 people watching live today, which is good. Look, we're here every Saturday. We are here every single Saturday. Subscribe over there at YouTube. YouTube at Richard Taylor TV. Don't forget to subscribe over there. Give thumbs up. Do all that good stuff that you want. This show on Saturday is just getting more popular and more popular and more popular. We saw AI and saw what AI becomes. We got to keep track of it. You don't want to go out there running wild. It could not be good. Look what I found. This is my pass, June 28th, 2007, when I became a Final Cut Pro certified trainer. This pass was for Apple headquarters in New York City. I stayed a few blocks and I walked to the building, but I got this pass and I took the Apple certified trainer course and I passed and became a trainer that day. 2 of us passed out of 15 to 20 people. 2 of us passed and became trainers at the course, and the rest of them had to retake their test. There's not a kill switch. It's all about profit. I hope Final Cut Pro pulls up text-based edit before the end of time. So I think we'll see text-based editing. 2025 might be the year. That's what I'm hoping. 2025 would be a good year for text-based editing. Well, let me know what are your favorite items for Final Cut Pro. Tell me what you think. Mine are text-based editing or roles-based audio mixer. The audio mixer's there. It's been in there for a long time, been in there for years. They're developing it. They want to make sure it doesn't cause problems elsewhere. But it's there. So it's just a matter of being turned on when the time is right. Who's planning on going to the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit, if there indeed is one? Motion within Final Cut Pro. So motion in Final Cut Pro Classic, Final Cut Pro 7 and before, you could have a motion project in the Final Cut Pro timeline. A dedicated motion project in the Final Cut Pro timeline, and it would play like a normal clip. And you could right-click on that motion project in the Final Cut Pro timeline and say open in motion. It would open in motion. You could make adjustments, save it, and it would be updated in the Final Cut Pro timeline. It was fantastic. I'd love to go, but I may be broke by then. Well, I'd love to meet you, but you may be broke, yeah. Well, of course, watch my YouTube channel. I'll be providing updates from the airport on as much as I can. As you know, if there's a Final Cut Pro Creative Summit, I'll start broadcasting before I even leave. Start broadcasting, and we'll have a dozen different live broadcasts and clips, etc., from the Creative Summit, the way I always do. Try to understand how big Hollywood team work in collaboration using Final Cut Pro, Media Tool, Composer, Flame, Nuke, DaVinci, but as a team is amazing. So let's do this. Did I download that? I thought I did, but I don't see it. Hold on a second. That's weird. Oh, let me talk about this for a second. So, as you know, let's add this one. Alexander, hello, Richard. Just got here to watch your live. You know, from Brazil, just like Rogerio is. Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for making a comment. We have over 80 people watching live right now. Absolutely. Let me just go over here for a second. What am I doing? Let's do this. So I've got, for years, let me get rid of that word in the search. Do I have it there? Yes, I do. So let's go back over to this. Black. Let's go back over there. There's Final Cut Pro Superhero. Yeah. Look at this. For years, you've known me as a DaVinci, DJI Mic 2. I've been using DJI Mic 2s for years. I used the Mic 1, loved it, so I got the Mic 2 when it first came out, been using it for years. I haven't been that satisfied with the DJI Mic 2 recently, and I got tired of waiting for the DJI Mic 3, which should be coming out any day. So what I did was I bought this Hollyland kit. This is a new, what is it called? Lark Max 2, something like that. It has so many good features. Number one, the transmitters are smaller. It's got a dedicated iPhone plug-in, which you can see right there. Let me pull myself over there. Right there is a dedicated iPhone plug-in module receiver. So you don't have to put the big one in. You just plug this little one in. It has the earphones. Okay? The earphones over here are, you can monitor your audio. This is included in the package. And these work on Bluetooth and just directly connected to their receivers, two receivers. These are dedicated transmitters, are tiny. They are just completely so much smaller than the DJI ones. It has a module for lapel mics if you want. It does 32-bit float through the entire pipeline. Not only do they record 32-bit float, they also broadcast 32-bit float to both receivers. Of course, it has magnetic clip. It has an alligator clip, which is, I mean, it's like a snapping alligator clip, which is different than just the cold shoe, which is spring-loaded. It actually snaps. It actually snaps. So I went and bought that. Lark Max 2, there we go. I went and bought that, and here's what happened. I haven't got it yet. So I sold my DJI Mic 2 kit for $250. Bought it for $350 a year and a half, 2 years ago. So $250 is a good price. And I bought this new Hollyland Lark Max 2 kit for about the same price because it's $279 with the headphones. But I was on the site, the Hollyland site, and a 5% coupon came up. So I clicked on that. It applied the 5% coupon to the $279, and I bought it with Apple Pay, which gave me another 2%. So I got it for 7% less than the list price. It hasn't shipped yet, but it should be shipping, and I'd like to try it out. They have so many good features. So many good features. What other features do they have? Let me see what else they have. It's a bunch of new features that I really, really like. I can't remember right now. But anyway, a bunch of new features. Let's go over here. Now, I downloaded this one video file. I'm not sure why it's not showing up. I was going to play it for you. Let me see. Oh, that's weird. Let me pull this up real quick. Hold on one second. Trying to figure out, I did something wrong. I'm trying to download this video file, but it's not letting me. Edit video. No, here we go. I see what I did wrong. I pressed the wrong button, of course. Here we go. Nope, it's not there. Oh, here we go. Share. Nope, it's not there. Now, I know there's a video place to download. Let me see if it's here. Details. Subtitles. Well, we'll just play the actual file at YouTube. Hold on one second. We will do it this way. This is from the last Final Cut Pro Creator Summit.
Now the mall space is on fire. And I see people walking around using iPhones as part of their kits. And that's part of their kit. Sometimes it is a kit, right? But for other people, it's an accessory to the kit. That's what Richard's doing right now. It's part of the whole system. It's so powerful and simple. I admire he's got a monopod, he's got dual record audio. I mean, this is it. It's the one-man band is not actually lo-fi anymore. It's amazing. Teams of one were never possible. It doesn't even make sense when you think about it in English. Teams of one. It's like, how do I have, I'm it. He's it. It's amazing, right?
So that's Michael Cioni. I've known Michael for years. At the last Creative Summit, he had a really good presentation. He was on stage for 90 minutes. 90 minutes. Better keyframes and curve adjustments for animation as Premiere already has. Absolutely. Are you buying iPhone 17 or will you wait for the 18? I'll be buying both the 17 and the 18 both. Very, very likely. If you had to place a bet, just say Richard's going to buy the 17 Pro Max and the 18 Pro Max. Yes, I'm looking forward to that event a month from now, a little less than a month or a little over a month, whatever it is. Absolutely. And I'd like to tell you more about the Creative Summit, but there's nothing I can tell because nobody's told me, given me permission to say anything yet, so I'll have to wait. I see in your Facebook post some photos from cats to adopt. Very nice. They're cute. I'm a big animal rescue proponent. Any local groups that do animal rescue. I help promote horse rescues. There's one. Plenty of cat rescues, local ones. The local Humane Society is a no-kill shelter. They do a great job. Friskies is a wildlife rehabilitator in Ellicott City, which I've been involved with for years and years and years. These people dedicate their lives to saving animals. Phenomenal, as far as I'm concerned. They're the heroes. They are the heroes. We have a couple indoor cats, and we have 3 boy outdoor cats right now. They're community cats. They've all been fixed. They've all had their shots. They've all been seen by the vets. They don't wander but between our house and the neighbors' houses. That's what they go back and forth. They don't go anywhere dangerous, and they have a place on my property that's a sunroom. It's dedicated to the cats. I mean, they can come and go as they please. At night, we close up all the doors and just have the cat door open. So. Absolutely. Could you do a camera comparison between the 16 Pro Max, 17 Pro Max when you get the latter and give me a take on the improvements you perceive in your use case? Sure, absolutely. I'll be doing a comparison of the new microphone system that I'm really excited about getting from Hollyland whenever that gets here. And I'm not going to do a big. There's lots of people that'll do technical comparisons between the iPhone 16 and 17. I'll do like things that I like. I'll do things that I like, but I'm not going to get into the specs and stuff. That's not what I do. All right. We want to give the Final Cut Pro team accolades. They're watching this live stream. Thank you very much. And also, each and every one of you that are watching, if you're watching and haven't made any comment, go ahead and comment. If you're on X, comment from X. If you're on Facebook, comment from Facebook. If you're on YouTube, comment from YouTube. Let us know your name and where you're located around the globe. Are you ready for 8K shooting? I shoot 6K with my Lumix S5 Mark IIX. It's very, very nice, but I think 4K for 80% of the stuff is plenty. So I won't be shooting 8K for normal events, like if I'm going to Main Street and shooting an event, I'm not going to shoot it in 8K. I'll shoot it in 4K. That'll be fine. I'll be curious if the phones get 8K. I would think they would incrementally step up to 6K, if anything. Shooting in 8K, some things, but the sensor's so small, we'll have to wait and see. They have to do something with the new iPhones to make people like myself want one. But very, very likely, unless they don't do hardly anything, I'll be getting a 17 Pro Max or whatever they're calling it. All righty. Anything else specifically? Anything else coming specifically? That you want to know about Final Cut Pro wise? I think that's I agree on your decision to only test things you actually want to use, and it's the only way you can find out if a new phone actually does improve what you want to do. Yeah, I'll watch the videos of people comparing the iPhone 16 and iPhone 17, but I'm just going to buy it. I mean, you can return it if it turns out to be a dog, but I've never been disappointed in Apple phones. I buy them for the cameras. So that's what I do. Let me just see something here. I'm going to pull this up. All right. Some say HDR is more important than increased resolution in human perception in general. Yeah, I don't. 4K's been fine for years. I expect it to be the same. I expect it to remain the same. So 8K, 4K, 6K, if it goes to 6K or 8K, I'd be really surprised if the iPhone with its tiny sensor went to 8K. I'd be very surprised. Have to see how that works. Good morning. Are you excited about the new iPhone 17 Pro? I am not. Been looking at some nice other smartphones with better camera features. Yes, I am. Yes, I am excited. Yes, I am. Listen, the iPhone event is one of my favorite events of the year, even more than WWDC, because I like the new camera features, video camera. I don't care about the still camera. That doesn't interest me. I don't shoot still, I shoot video. And whatever features they add, there's got to be something that they add. So. Again, storage and data rate in a small device is the practical limitation. Absolutely. Whatever they're going to do with their sensors and stuff, I heard they're going to do. Do you think iPhone 17 Pro have the best video quality of all? That's what I do. I'm going to go to get 17 Pro. I'd really like to AirPlay to an Apple TV 8K as a monitor. Well, is AirPlay limited to a certain resolution? I don't even know. I don't even know. Do you think they might fix the time ghosting effects that really make your images look unappealing? You have to tell me more about that. Yeah, for years the iPhone camera was Sony. Now I read it will be from Samsung. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. The sensor you're talking about. Let me check on something real quick. Just saw a response. From something. Let me just check on something. Here we go. Yeah, okay. We just got clarification that, of course, yeah, as we thought, that was just, that image from Final Cut Pro was AI generated, which is what it looked like. That's what we thought. There we go. So no mystery. It looked like AI generated image. I was just curious if it was, somebody said that was a real image or not. So it was not, which is what it looked like. I just couldn't imagine that being real. But I posted it. It brought a lot of discussion out. Pro Final Cut, anti Final Cut. I'm jumping off the iPhone, going another direction. I think the phones are very overrated. They're not overrated. Apple is a premium company. It always has been. Macs, their displays, everything about them is premium. So their iPhones are premium. Best-selling phone in the world by far. By far. I wouldn't even know where to begin with another kind of phone. And I have no intentions of doing it. I would get a dedicated phone-like camera, but it's not a phone. Keep my iPhone. And if they came out, suppose X came out with a camera phone form factor that was really, really good camera, I would consider that. I would certainly consider that. If we get a rolls-based mixer, I will buy you extra coffee to get you up and running to cover it entirely. That would be fine. That would be completely fine. Absolutely. So I guess I'm going to get out of here. It's 12 o'clock. We've been on. We'll stay on for 2 hours, and we're going to go. We'll be back next Sunday. Sometime during the week, we might have information about the Creative Summit. Maybe there'll be announcements sometime over the next couple of weeks. I have another phone. It's amazing. I have 50 megapixel tele, ultra, and main camera, also front camera. Yeah, I'm not interested in another phone. Just not interested. The iPhone, the Max system, Final Cut Pro, that's fine for me. I'm not a fan of other operating. I don't use Windows, never have. I don't use Google stuff. I don't use Gmail. I stick to what I like and what I know the best. This shoots superb video, especially Apple Log, if you want to go that right. The Apple Log, absolutely phenomenal. I've been using it for years. Doing it for years. So I won't be switching. You won't see a Windows computer in my house. You won't see an Android device in my house. I'm not interested in that. If somebody came out with a phone, a camera, like this form factor, what was dedicated camera, I'd be interested in that. I'd be interested in that for sure. And that might get me not buying iPhones, but it would have to be really good and not run on Android, which I'm not a fan of Android stuff. So it would have to be a really good phone. That would be cool. But I buy these for the phones. I buy these for the video. All right, everyone. We're going to get out of here for today. We will be back. Thank you to all you for coming on and enjoying this. We'll be back next Saturday. If not before, if there's an update to Final Cut Pro, if we finally get 11.1.2, bug fix, whatever, I'll come back on and we'll talk about that. I am going to bring the Aussies back on, Aussies in August. Once I work out a time plan, it works. Either I got to be on super early in the morning, like 6 a.m. East Coast time, or I got to be on 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, which is later for me. It would be during the week probably. That's the problem I'm having because we're on different time zones. What do you think about device to extend the iPhone camera? You're talking about a lens? Alexander, thank you. See you. Thank you for the live. Richard, absolutely. I'll be back next Saturday. Final Cut TV. Don't forget, Final Cut TV. Don't forget to subscribe over there, YouTube. Final Cut TV is where we're on YouTube. And you can also join our Facebook groups, Final Cut TV Radio. We've had a lively discussion this week. And we will see you next week, everyone, right? Yes, next week, next Saturday, if not before. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. You're the best audience out there. Buy protein, Final Cut protein, yes. Zoom lenses, etc. I used to, when I first started, I got a bunch of Moment lenses for my phones. I don't do that anymore. They change. When the phone changes, you got to buy new ones, new adapters and stuff, and I just don't. I just do my basic phone on a gimbal, though, and I do great audio, the best audio I can get. Looking forward to getting my Hollyland microphone system, and I'll, of course, come back on and we'll do give you my ideas on it. All right, everybody. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe. Give it some thumbs up over there on the YouTube channel. We all like that. I appreciate each and every one of you coming on Saturdays. We'll see you next Saturday, if not before.